Hey everybody, Ben Nelson here, the Everyday Real Estate Investor. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Really appreciate the support and thanks for checking it out. And I hope everything that you hear on here is helpful to you. Again, all of this is coming from just my heart to reach out and to encourage people and to help those that are busy and that just really have that desire, and they have maybe some resources and they have things like that, but they don't have the time, the full time to put into full-time real estate investing, but they really want to reap the benefits of real estate and the freedom that can offer. So that's my goal, is to help you to have the tools and the mindset and all of those things to be able to go out there and make things happen for you, whatever scale that is for you, whether that's just buying a couple rental properties to put in your portfolio or to scale up to a larger business at some point. So whatever that looks like for you, I really appreciate you joining me on this journey, and that's my goal, is to help you get there. So I wanted to jump into the last few episodes that I've launched with here have really been mindset and kind of prepping to where your mind needs to be, and some things to think about as you're either embarking on or scaling your investment journey. And this one's kind of like borderline with that, but I really want to get into some strategy and things as well. So credit where credit is due. I just want to put out there that the concept of this is not mine. I'm sure other people have said it, but I listen to a lot of other podcasts as well. And kind of where I first heard this whole concept came from, I've listened to the Real Estate Guys radio show a ton. I definitely appreciate you guys listening to this one, but there's tons of other real estate podcasts out there that are great, and that's a great one as well. I've learned a ton from them, and I've been to a lot of their events, and it's been great. So this concept comes from them, and why this is something that I want to put out there early is because this is something that I personally had not thought through when I first started my investing, and I think this is something that can change over time for people as well. So it's always worth revisiting. But, I think a lot of other investors, and I'd even say maybe the majority of real estate investors, don't really go through this process as they're thinking about investing in real estate. They live somewhere, and so, maybe they keep their current residence, when they buy something else, and they rent that out and they become a accidental landlord or something like that, or they just buy something in their neck of the woods because that's where they're at. So anyway, that's where the history of this, that's where I got this idea from. It's not my own. It's from some things that I've heard from the Real Estate Guys, and I just think it's really great. So I just want to share it with those that maybe haven't heard it before. So the whole premise of this is that most people when they start real estate investing, they start with looking at properties, right? They get excited, they want to buy something, they want to invest in real estate. So they start and they go out and look at properties. And that's really the last step that you want to be taking when you're beginning your real estate investment journey. It's exciting. Obviously, I love looking at houses. I love running numbers on deals. I love looking, going out and, especially, if you're looking at fixtures or something like that, seeing what something is and what it could be. All that stuff is fun and exciting. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you want to have it in the proper order. So we're going to go through this. There's 5 steps that you should take. And again, that's step 5. So a little bit of skipping ahead there, but step 1 is you really want to look at what are your goals in real estate. What do you want real estate to do for you? What kind of numbers do you want to hit for cash flow or for equity? And put some numbers to it. What is it that you really want real estate to accomplish for you? And figure out what that is, so that you have a number in mind, you have a goal in mind. And kind of going back to some things I mentioned on one of my previous podcasts, make sure you're accounting for the lifestyle of the type of investing that you're doing, and make sure it can accommodate that as well. So, I talked about flips and wholesales versus, passively investing. Those are very different as far as how they look on your day to day, and how much time involvement you have, and the different things that you're doing. So, your goals and what you want to be doing, what you want to achieve, that's where you really need to start, because you have to use that, and you have to work backwards from there in creating the strategy and the business that you want. So that's the next one, is figuring out a strategy. So what strategy is going to work to help you achieve your goal? So again, that's going to look different depending on what your goal is. If it's building equity, that might look a lot different, or probably will look a lot different than if you're going for cash flows. So one of the strategies that I've implemented is the the whole BRRRR method, right? The buy, rehab, rent, and refinance, and that works really well. But that's an equity gain, generally an equity gain play, and not necessarily a cash flow play. So you really have to look at what strategy is going to work for the goals that you have set out to achieve for your investing. So you want to figure out a strategy that works, and then from there you have to look at a market. You have to look at markets, and it might be in your backyard. It might be in whatever market that you are in, but it may not, and you have to be willing to look at that possibility. Obviously, if you're flipping or you're wholesaling, those are like typically boots on the ground kind of deals, where you have to be going out there and looking at properties and in person, and you're probably running a rehab crew and things like that. So that's a little harder to do in markets that are outside of your physical area where you live. It can be done. I know people that do it. It's definitely not impossible, but starting out, probably that would be something in your own backyard versus if you're doing some more passive or turnkey properties or things like that, or looking for more cash flow, you might be more able to do that in other markets. But the point is, you want to look at your market and say, can the strategy that I want to implement to reach my goal, is this market going to help me get that, right? So if you're trying to build equity and you're in a Midwest market, that's very general, I know, but a lot of Midwest markets are lower price point. They're very stable in their prices. It's just so that makes it a little harder to do equity. Doesn't mean that you can't do it, but is it the best market for doing it? Maybe not, right? Vice versa, if you're on a coastal market, again, very general, but if you're on a coastal market, a lot of those are very hard to find really good cash flows, unless you do some value add stuff and things like that, which we've done and been able to create some cash flow that way. But again, you want to look at your market, see if your market is going to match with your strategy, so you make sure you're investing in the right market to achieve the goals, and to the right market to implement the strategy that you've set out, so you can reach the goals that you have set out to achieve. So and then from there, you want to build your team. So what does your team look like? That's going to be, again, a little bit different depending on your strategy, but you definitely need, lenders. You probably need real estate brokers. You need, if you're wholesaling, you need buyers. You need a buyer list, right? You need a title company. You need, investors. If you're doing bigger things, there's a lot to a team, and you need property managers. Wow, I almost forgot one of the most important team members, especially if you're buy and hold. You're a good property manager is going to help you implement your strategy and manage that asset. So that's super important. So from there, after you've determined your market, then you want to build a team in that market, and you have to go out there and find people that are going to be qualified to help you put together implement this strategy so you can reach your goals. From there, then you want to jump over to starting to look at properties, because now you know what you're looking for and you have a team in place to help you implement that. If you start with looking at the house, you don't even know what you're looking for yet. You're just looking at houses, and I've heard people say, you ask them what they're looking for in a deal, and they say, well, anything that makes money. Like, okay, like do you I don't know how to help you. I don't know how to help you find what you're looking for, right? So and you probably don't even know, if you're telling me that, you probably don't even really know what a good deal is to you. So you have to really define what that means, and then you have to be able to tell other people what that means and what you're looking for, because If you're super general like that, and you're talking to brokers and hey, what do you look? Hey, I'm looking for something in your market, and you're calling around and trying to build relationships and everything, and they ask you, what are you looking for? And you say, well, anything that makes money. I guarantee you, they're not going to give you the time of day. They're not going to, maybe they'll help coach you through that, hopefully a little bit, and say, well, you really need to figure that out, and like, here's some ways to do that. But if you leave it at that, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to go to work for you. They're not going to find you anything, because they know, number one, that you don't know what you're looking for, and number two, they don't know what you're looking for. They can't go out and find something for you if they don't know what that is. Everybody has different parameters on what a good deal is, and what they can pull off and what they're looking for. So you really have to define that. So again, step 1, goals. Step 2, strategy. Step 3, market. Step 4, build your team. And step 5, go locate the property that's going to fit fit the strategy and the goals that you're trying to reach. So hopefully that's helpful. I would encourage you to sit down and really figure out, again, start with your goals, and then work from there to figure out the strategy and the market, and then go build your team, and then start going and out and looking for property that'll help you reach that goal. So if this has been helpful to you, I have a report on my, or I guess a 5-step, it kind of goes along with this, but you'll get some other tips and things as well. Come over to my personal webpage. It's benjacobnelson.com. So BenJacobNelson, benjacobnelson.com. And there's on the main page, it says download free report for tips before you start investing. Go ahead and get your email on there, and you'll get a report, and you'll get some other tips as well. Hopefully that'll be a helpful resource for you as well. So until next time, go out there and set your goals, put your strategy together, pick your market, build your team, and then go out and find some property. And we'll catch you next time.